The scene shows the main character of the anime named Yudo Suo. He is a good guy who fights for the good of all people and his family. Yudo is a little naive in some ways, but on one hand, Yudo will get angry when he sees other people doing bad things. He is interested in ancient legends and keeps testing sacred objects. One day he goes to a shrine and attempts to test the sacred mirror. He takes a picture of him and the mirror that he accidentally transports himself to the Bronze Age. In this world, Yudo becomes the head of the Wolf Clan. Yudo learns all the information, but things force him to declare war to secure the clan. That night, Yudo uses his phone to find information and the 21st century form of war formation. Just then, a beautiful woman approaches him and tells him to sleep because he will go to the battlefield tomorrow morning. The following day, the war occurs. On the battlefield, Yudo uses spear iron to fight the enemy troops. The enemy seems overwhelmed with the iron weapon of his clan. It is seen that Yudo is using phalanx formation he obtained from his phone, which was originally invented by the great Alexander and Oda Nobunaga. Seeing the enemy nearly losing the battle, Yudo tells his troops to raise their flag and attacks the enemy. Suddenly, a shot of an arrow comes towards Yudo, but Felicia manages to catch the arrow. It turns out the attack comes from Einherjar, who is a member of the Horn Clan. A shot of arrows continues coming towards Yudo and his comrades, but they remain calm. Immediately, Felicia uses her whip to block enemy attacks and uses it to attack the enemies. Because of her speed, Felicia manages to save them from the enemy's arrows. Yudo is worried about Run's fight with the enemy troops in the front row, but Felicia ensures him that Run will definitely defeat his enemies. Moreover, Run is Menegarmer, the strongest wolf. Shortly after, Run has defeated the Horn Clan. After that, Rune approaches Yudo and Felicia. Rune asks Yudo's condition, and he casually tells him that he wouldn't get hurt because he didn't intervene directly on the battlefield. The same thing goes with Run. She is fine and doesn't even get the slightest wound even though she plunged directly into the battlefield. Later in the tent, Yudo holds a meeting for the Oath of the Chalice. It turns out every time Yudo defeats his enemy, he will offer them to be his son or sister. Hence, the offer is referred to as the Oath of the Chalice. Linnea, the patriarch of the Horn Clan, refuses to subject the Wolf Clan and declines Yudo's offer to be his daughter. Therefore, Yudo gives her another offer, which is to be his little sister. And if she declines his chalice, her city will be destroyed like what happened to Van did. Apparently, it is just merely Yudo's threat to corner Linnea since he didn't destroy the city in order to avoid bloodshed. Leaving with no choice, Linnea finally accepts the offer to be Yudo's sworn sister. After the battle is over, Yudo and his troops return to the city. Yudo is welcomed by his people. Moreover, he brings the Wolf Clan's victory. A moment later, two elders of the clan approach Yudo and Felicia. They pray that Yudo is blessed by the god. However, Yudo leaves them because he has an urgent necessity. The two elders don't tolerate Yudo's attitude and consider it impolite. Felicia immediately handles the situation, allowing Yudo to leave. Finally, Yudo arrives in a room to charge his phone with solar power as there is no electricity in the Bronze Age. Yudo then calls Mitsuki in his real world. Mitsuki asks Yudo his condition, which he replies that he is fine. She then asks him if he has found a way home. Yudo replies he does not found it yet, but promises her that he will come home. Felicia looks at Yudo from behind the wall and looks sad. Later, Yudo lays on his bed to call it a night. The next morning, Felicia and Run come to his room and wake him up. Felicia has prepared breakfast for him using rotary quern. This tool Yudo made for them to make bread. Run states that Yudo has a mysterious knowledge that he is able to make many tools. Yudo goes to have his breakfast while talking about the Oath of the Chalice with the Horn Clan. Yudo also thinks of increasing the number of the iron spears. Later, Yudo, accompanied by Felicia, goes to the forge to meet Ingrid. Ingrid is seen greeting Yudo casually, dropping the formality. Seeing her manner towards Yudo, Felicia reminds Ingrid to show some respect. Ingrid tries speaking formally, but she feels having a hard time. Seeing that, Yudo and Felicia laugh at her. Yudo then informs Ingrid that he has taken the patriarch of the Horn Clan, his younger sister. Therefore, the Horn Clan will be using the same weapon as theirs. Thus, Ingrid needs to make weapons in a great number. The ritual of the Chalice of Allegiance begins. It is led by the holy priest, Alexander, in the name of the Divine Emperor. Linnea has now officially become a part of the Wolf Clan. This ritual should make it possible to rid the Wolf Clan of all opposition and bring peace. After performing the ritual, Linnea asks Yudo to treat her clan the same way as he treats the Wolf Clan. Because he is now her brother, he will grant her wish, making her moved by his kindness. After that, Felicia comes to inform them that they just got a message from Fort Horn on the border. Yudo gathers the elders of the clan and tells them about the message that saying the Hoof Clan, one of the greatest clans in the West, has begun an invasion of the territory of Horn Clan. They bring a troop of about 10,000 men. Yudo tells them they will help the Horn Clan stand against the Hoof. However, some of the elders object to his decision. One of them states that they should not help them since they just shared the oath and that they should make the Horn Clan their slave. Yudo gets infuriated and he slams the door with his fist. He then warns the elders about the oath and the clan's reputation. Furthermore, he states that as a patriarch of the Wolf Clan, he decides to join the Horn Clan to fight their enemy. The scene then shows the patriarch of the Hoof Clan, Yngvi, who looks surprised to see the presence of the Wolf Clan. He doesn't expect the Wolf Clan will be coming to the battle even though their force only consists of cavalry. Even so, Yngvi encourages his troops that if they remain calm, they will surely win. After she is done with her mission, Rune tells her troops to leave. Yngvi gets angry knowing they have been fooled. The scene then switches to the Horn Clan. Linnea receives a report that Rune has tricked the Hoof Clan, and she feels relieved. Apart from that, Rune is well known for her prowess. She also had defeated Einherjar and the ruler of Alfheim. Thinking about her prowess, Linnea recalls when Yudo defended the Horn Clan in front of the elders of the Wolf in the meeting. He even didn't mind to aid the Horn Clan fighting against the Hoof. After that, Linnea meets Felicia and Yudo. After talking here and there, they begin talking about their enemy. Yudo then tells his men to eat and allows them to have wine before fighting. Linnea is surprised by his command. Yudo then quotes a line from Sun Tzu that they cannot fight at full strength when they are tired and hungry. It switches to the battlefield, where Yngvi is seen praising the Wolf Clan's power, but at the same time underestimates them. According to him, the Hoof's power is much greater than the Wolf's. Linnea remembers when she was attending a meeting with Yudo. At that time, Yudo stated that the enemy is likely to point out the weakness of the phalanx formation, and that they would attack from the side, so that the Horn Clan must try to hold, and Yudo stated that he had prepared a tactic to take care of it. The battle runs as Yudo predicted. However, Linnea and her troops are shocked to see their enemy coming for them. They see the patriarch of the Hoof Clan, Yngvi, who is called the Monster, charging forward. Linnea tries to encourage her troops and tell them to falter. From afar, Linnea and her troops witness how Yngvi begins striking the people in his way. Then, after Yngvi fell into the trap, Yudo orders Rune to charge forward. Rune then tells her Muspel squad to focus on Yngvi. As they meet, Yngvi and Rune proceed to the introduction, and they begin striking each other with spears. As Yngvi manages to make Rune fall from her horse, he begins to boast and is about to kill her. However, Rune manages to cut his weapon with her sword, and he gets to finish him. In his last breath, Yngvi asks Rune about her weapon. Rune tells him that the sword is from Japan. Yngvi goes on to say that he is proud to have died at the hands of a tough warrior like her. On the other side, Rune feels honored to have fought someone as strong as him. After that, Rune claims the Wolf Clan victory over the Hoof Clan. Her victory is responded with euphoria by the troops, while Linnea feels touched knowing that victory is on her side. After the battle, Linnea mentions her wish to Yudo and the others that she wants to leave her title as the patriarch and give the title to him by marrying him. This nonsense request shocks Yudo and the others, Rune against her idea, but Yudo thinks Linnea must have other intentions and asks her to tell the truth. Linnea explains that the patriarch is determined not by lineage, but by capability. Tradition says that it is the strong who should be the leader, as hereditary rule only leads to decay. So a patriarch is chosen based on merit. Linnea then reveals that she is a hereditary patriarch, and if everyone knows about it, she might lose her position. Linnea then tells them about her father and how she was chosen as the patriarch of her clan. Even though she got a lot of rejection, she still wanted to be a patriarch for her father's trust in her. Therefore, Linnea wants Yudo to marry her so that the Horn Clan will have a great leader. Even so, Yudo cannot give his answer right away as he needs to talk about it with the clan members. Linnea then states that she is looking forward to his answer. The following day, Felicia is helping Yudo wearing his uniform for the victory ritual. At that moment, Felicia advises Yudo regarding Linnea's offer. According to her, if Yudo marries Linnea, the city will befall in his hands, and he can use the city as the base so that he is able to approach the position of ruler of Alfheim. However, Yudo states he won't receive the offer even though it is a very great offer for the Wolf Clan. Yudo asks Felicia why she suggested that he should marry Linnea. Felicia then admits she overheard his conversation on the phone the other day. She heard what he was saying about coming back to his world, and that it made her in a quandary and hoped that he would stay with her. Therefore, she thinks that by marrying Linnea and becoming a Horn Patriarch, Yuto will remain in this world. Yuto apologizes to her that he made her sad. He stated that she has been supporting him for 2 years, and if he suddenly leaves it will be unfair for her. He tells her that she is his most trusted friend. Thus, Felicia agrees to help him to stop the wedding plan with Linnea. Yuto feels happy and hopes she can do it. The victory ritual begins. Yuto is seen paying homage to the ancestors. After finishing the ritual, Yudo sits next to Linnea, and they talk while enjoying the cuisine. Seeing the closeness of the two, Rasmus likens them as husband and wife, making them feel awkward. Just then, Felicia comes, breaking the tension. She starts carrying out her plan to stop the wedding plan. She then asks Yudo to put his arm around her shoulders and teases Linnea. Just then, the holy priest Alexis comes, along with Steinthor, the patriarch of the Lightning Clan that rules over northern Vanheimer. Apparently, he wants to congratulate the Wolf Clan for the victory. However, the people of the Horn Clan seem to dislike his presence, let alone the Horn Clan's past with the Lightning Clan. Despite their rejection, Steinthor mocks them, which prompts Rasmus and the others to draw their swords. However, Alexis stops them, stating that Steinthor comes as his guest. Because Alexis is a priest of the Asgard Empire that rules over Yggdrasil, Rasmus and the others don't mind forgiving Steinthor's rudeness. But once again, Steinthor mocks them, which annoys Rasmus even more. In a flash of lightning, Steinthor has moved next to Rasmus, shocking everyone with his speed. Steinthor then destroys Rasmus's sword. Linnea then explains it is because of Mjolnir, a unique rune that transforms all its divine power into destructive energy, while his speed is because of his Megingjord rune. Furthermore, Linnea states that in all of Yggdrasil, Steinthor is one of the 3 twin-tuner Einherjar. When finding Yudo's whereabouts, Steinthor immediately approaches him, but Rune stops him from approaching Yuto. Seeing her features, Steinthor immediately recognizes Rune, but he ignores her, and instead goes on to walk closer to Yudo. Linnea talks to him, but he mocks her. Meanwhile, Yudo is annoyed seeing his attitude that always harassing people. Steinthor looks at Yudo's facial expression and states he likes it. On the contrary, Yudo doesn't find he is amusing, and after exchanging pleasantries, Steinthor leaves. The next day, Felicia accompanies Yudo to the market. From a distance, Christ and Al are looking at them. They are from the Claw clan. In the market, there are a mother named Cece and a child named Effie are traded. They are residents of North. Yudo immediately buys them from the slave trader and tells the guard to take them to his chamberlain. After that, Christ and Al visit him. They appear before Yudo and the others and start talking about Yudo, leaving Yudo and the others dumbfounded. Christ and Al begin to introduce themselves and discuss the wedding. At the order of their patriarch, Bafid, they come to propose Yudo to become their husband. Yudo declined their offer and told them to leave. Felicia whispers something to Yudo, but Christ and Al get what she is talking about. It turns out they are Einherjar, so that Yudo cannot just ask them to leave. Apparently, they didn't come there to talk about wedding. Instead, they are interested to make the oath of the Chalice to be his daughters. On the other hand, Yudo still cannot find the secret behind these 2 Claw girls. Therefore, before accepting their offer, Yudo asks the twins to prove themselves because the Chalice of the Wolf Clan is not easy to earn. After that, Yudo and Felicia travel with Christ and Al. With the twins' runes, their journey becomes faster. Yudo thinks their power can be very helpful in battle. They finally arrive at Gimel, which is the biggest granary area, so their food supply problem is resolved. Yudo wants to introduce a Norfolk crop rotation system. Even so, because Gimel used to be ruled by the Horn Clan, Yudo can't go around asking them to change the farming method. Linnea, who is around in Gimel City, stopped by to meet Yudo to ask about his answer. But now the problem is that the Claw clan also offered marriage. Suddenly, Al appears there and is followed by Chris. The twins start arguing so that both of them are busy with their world. When Linnea finds about their proposal, Linnea claims the Horn Clan is stronger than the Claw clan, and that Yudo should choose the Horn Clan. Yudo shifts the topic to calm the commotion between the three girls who are fighting over him. Because Yudo has just taken control of Gimel City, it's possible that the townspeople haven't fully accepted the Wolf Clan. Therefore, Liana came to help Yudo talk to the townspeople. Yudo then relays his idea to Liana. He wants to improve the townspeople's farming methods, but they are not ready to accept the Norfolk crop rotation method. The Norfolk farming method is a method of planting various types of plants sequentially so that there is no empty space and the land can be more productive. After that, Linnea gathers the townspeople and goes on a mission to convey the Norfolk crop rotation system. As a result, many people agree with the idea. Moreover, Linnea has divided the place where the plants will be planted. However, there are still some people who are afraid of crop failure, and if Yudo can promise he will take care of them if it happens, the work will be started by tomorrow. After looking at the scheme thoroughly, Yudo agrees with the scheme Linnea showed to him. Yudo and the others hold a meeting because the Lightning Clan is preparing for war. Based on the information they got, the Lightning Clan is buying up weapons to fight against the Wolf Clan. Chris immediately asks Yudo to send her to the Lightning Clan to gather more information. Yudo thinks it is dangerous. She then asks Al to capture Olaf, and in a flash of lightning, Al appears behind Olaf and points her blade onto him.
Okay.
Chris states Yudo doesn't need to worry about them, as they have great skill to fight. At last, Yudo sends the twins to sneak into the enemy's territory, and if they succeed, they can proceed with the Oath of the Chalice. After that, Yudo, accompanied by Felicia and Linnea, go to the Oliviga River, which is the border territory with the Lightning Clan. Yudo immediately tells Linnea to help him doing something that is only her can do, which is asked to gather the people to build a dam. Meanwhile, Yudo are holding a meeting with others to discuss Steinthur's army. Even so, Yudo is sure the Wolf Clan will not lose from the Lightning Clan. The next day, the Lightning Clan's army, which consists of 80,000 men, gets ready to fight. It is known that their number is greater than the Wolf Clan's. Both sides have arrived at the battlefield, and they are about to start the battle. The frontline troops of the Lightning Clan die being shot by the arrows of the Wolf troops, but the enemy troops are getting closer. After that, Yudo orders the archers to retreat and change to the phalanx formation. When the Lightning Clan troops draw close, the phalanx formation strikes. As a result, many enemy troops are hit by the iron blow. Steinthur then tells Ving to take the left flank, while Pchalfi takes the right, and he will go straight up the middle. On the other hand, Rune receives a sign from Yudo to get ready. Both sides clash, and as Rune is beating Pchalfi, her attack doesn't work as Steinthur arrives and destroys Rune's spear, and Steinthur then launches attacks on Rune. Feeling that she cannot win over him, Rune tells her Muspel squad to retreat. After that, Steinthur is heading towards the Wolf Clan armies, striking them by himself. After exterminating them, Steinthur runs towards Yudo, but the phalanx formation blocks him. Even so, Steinthur goes through the formation and slain them. Seeing Steinthur's overwhelming strength, Yudo thinks that he is the one who later reincarnates as Shan Yu. Therefore, Yudo has Skarfjord to get to the battle arena to tell their army to retreat. Steinthur strikes him when he is giving command to his army, but he manages to hold off Steinthur's attack. Steinthur doesn't give in and attacks him again, but she gets to hurt him on the face. Steinthur offers him to fight, but he declines the offer, and he announces to the Lightning Clan soldiers that the weapon on their feet is meteoric iron. Skarfjord leaves Steinthur and his soldiers after saying that. Before leaving, Skarfjord tells the Lightning Clan soldiers that if they take the meteoric iron with them, they do not have to work anymore. The soldiers start collecting the iron on the ground, and they don't listen to Steinthur's command. Steinthur is enjoying his food when Pchalfi comes to inform him that Ving is dead in Skarfjord's hands. He feels grief of losing his brother, so he kicks Pchalfi hard on the stomach. Steinthur goes on to chase Yudo's armies who are crossing the river. At that time, Skarfjord arrives and blocks him. Steinthur notices that his skill is parrying the enemy's attack. Skarfjord then takes the chance to escape to the river. Steinthur commands his army to follow him, crossing the river. Steinthur gets to land on the other side of the river, even though he was attacked by the shots of arrows. As he arrives on the other side of the river, he is greeted by Skarfjord. Rune, Felicia, and the others are there as well. Now that Steinthur is up against 7 Einherjar, he gets beaten up by all of them, while the soldiers of the Lightning Clan are showered by the arrows and die. Cornered, Steinthur uses her strength so that he can turn things around. However, the ultimate duty of Skarfjord and others is only to hold Steinthur, as they know they cannot win against a monster like him. After saying this, Skarfir and others leave and suddenly a flood strikes, turning the river into a sea. Apparently, to defeat an enemy like Steinthor, Yudo uses Hand Sin's strategy, the raging river water caused by breaking the dam.
I can't lose.
On the other hand, Steinthor is still alive, but he is badly injured. Moreover, he has lost his army. He admits defeat and acknowledges Yudo's great strategy. Felicia and others invite Yudo to take some days off from his work, but Yudo refuses it. Because everyone insists, Yudo finally gives in and they all depart for vacation. While he is away, he leaves Jorgen in charge of Larvier for a couple of days. Jorgen comments that his vacation is important matter to the Wolf Clan so that he remains in good health and continues to be their patriarch. In that way, the Wolf Clan's prosperity will be assured for decades to come. After that, Yudo, accompanied by the girls to the hill. After they come back from the trip, Rune meets Ingrid to pick up her new weapon. She recalls her fight with Steinthor that she lost her sword. She exhales, and when Ingrid sees this, she thinks Rune's is not satisfied with her new weapon. Ingrid complains as it is her masterpiece and feels offended. Thus, she demands an explanation from Rune and doesn't let her go before she is explained, and states she won't make her weapon any longer. Finally, Rune explains why she sighed and tells her what happened to her sword. Just then, Felicia and Yudo go to see Ingrid to get Rune's former sword forged. Rune feels happy seeing her sword is back. Yudo and the girls are talking while looking at the market from above. Since Yudo led the clan's economy has drastically increased, resulting in their prosperity. Effie comes and brings water for them, but she accidentally throws the water and pours onto Yudo. Even so, Yudo calms her and claims that it is just a small thing that will not disturb him. The scene then shows the past, where Yudo was appointed to be the patriarch of the Wolf Clan. At that time, the patriarch thanked the unit for succeeding in defeating the Claw Clan. Furthermore, he also bowed his head as he felt guilty about his ability as a patriarch. Stephen then appointed Yudo to become his heir. This announcement annoyed Yudo as he wanted to go back to his world. Even so, Stephen had decided since Yuto was the only one who can protect the clan. Yuto insisted that he couldn't accept his request, and stated there was someone else like Lofter, who deserved the title. It made Lofter angry as he thought Yuto was just pretending when deep inside he wanted the title. Apparently, becoming a patriarch was Lofter's wish. Thus, Lofter worked hard to protect Felicia and the people, so that the Wolf Clan would become a great country on a par with the Claw Clan and the Hoof Clan. Unfortunately, his dream was gone because of Yudo. Lofter draws his sword and was about to slay Yudo, but Stephen stepped in and took the hit. As a result, his father got hurt and died, and Lofter fled from the scene. Before he died, Stephen told Yudo that if he succeeded in carrying out his duty as a patriarch and intended to return to his world, he needed to appoint Lofter to be the patriarch of the clan. After relaying his last message, he took his last breath. Returning back to Yudo, who is currently looking for information about the enemy's power through his smartphone. After that, he calls Mitsuki and talks many things. Elsewhere, Lofter is reading a letter from his sister, but he notices it is not Felicia's handwriting. Lofter intends to stage a coup against Yudo to take over what used to be his. Meanwhile, Yudo gets informed that the Panther Clan has attacked the Horn Clan. Moreover, they have conquered the city of Mervir. Yudo then has Felicia gather the army immediately because they are going to the battle arena. Yudo and the troops are getting ready, but their enemy has arrived and has started striking them. The Panther Clan uses the hit-and-run tactics that Yudo used against the Hoof Clan. Yudo feels annoyed being attacked with his own tactic. Skarfir and his troops begin attacking their enemy. They shoot the arrows towards the enemy's side, and as the Panther Clan is cornered, they choose to retreat. But suddenly, they come back in greater numbers and have the Wolf Clan surrounded. In this battle, Lofter's doing a battle strategy against Yudo, and since Lofter knows very well that Yudo always relies on his smartphone to make a battle strategy, he is certain that he can outwit Yudo in this battle. Lofter gives a sign to his armies that they annihilate the Wolf Clan immediately. But it turns out they have fallen into Yudo's trap. When they shoot the Wolf Clan with arrows, they cannot get through it since there are carriages blocking their attacks. Apparently, it is not just a mere carriage. Instead, it is a barrier fortress. Yudo then commands his troops to charge forward. Seeing their army is out of order, Sigyn thinks of retreat, but Lofter refuses. He thinks he still has a chance to get through the fortress. Yudo suddenly feels something odd is happening to him. It turns out he is hit by Sigyn's magic. She chants a spell to Yudo and turns Lofter's soldiers into berserkers. Finally, the Panther Clan's army manages to destroy the fortress, and at that moment, Lofter gets into Yudo's base. After a long time, the former brothers are reunited on the battlefield. Upon seeing Yudo in front of his eyes, Lofter confronts his great rival. But Felicia tries to prevent him. However, Lofter ignores her and is about to attack her, but is stopped by Yudo. Both of them begin to clash swords. Apparently, horses don't like the smell of camels. Rune's arrival causes Lofter's house to go berserk. Because his horse is out of control, Lofter cannot fight, and he decides to retreat. The scene shows Yudo, who is warming himself up in kotatsu. Yudo invites Felicia to enjoy the kotatsu with him. Ingrid made the kotatsu that is heated using coal. Later, Effie is seen going to the school, but she doesn't really like her school life because no one wants to be her friend. They even ignore her and refuse to play with her. Yudo is worried about her seeing she is treated badly by her friends. In fact, he is the one who sent Effie to the school. Al and Chris have an idea to overcome the problem that they will enroll to the school as students. The teacher introduces Chris and Al in front of the other students. Moreover, the teacher explains Al and Chris's status, who are the princesses of the Claw Clan's patriarch. The teacher even tells the students that Chris and Al have made oaths with the Wolf Clan's patriarch. As usual, Chris and Al are arguing in their introduction session. Later, Chris tells Yudo that the class is ruled by a queen, and she is the one telling the other students to ignore Effie. Furthermore, Chris tells him that it is Yudo's fault since he came with Effie on the first day she came to the school and acted very close to her. That made the queen envy with her as everybody wanted to get attention from him. Meanwhile, Yudo thought it would help Effie and her friends would treat her well, but it ended up the contrary. Therefore, Chris thinks of a way to overcome it by becoming the new queen of the class, and she will make the change. At school, the queen invites her friends to her house, but they ignore her and get to Chris's side. Chris then invites them to the hot spring. Seeing Effie is not coming, Al tells her to get going with the others. Effie then goes to the queen and invites her to go with her, but the queen refuses. Effie refuses to give in and keeps asking her to come. Finally, she agrees to go with Effie, and both of them become friends. Chris and Al report to Yudo that they have overcome Effie's school problem. Yudo then thinks that their study is almost over, but Chris comments that they will keep going. Al refuses the idea as she doesn't want to go to school anymore, but her sister forces her that she will be able to write her own name. After that, Yudo calls Mitsuki and asks her opinion about the presents he will give. Mitsuki states that as long as he puts his heart into it, everything is fine, and she suggests that he make his own present. Their conversation ends because his phone battery is low. Yudo goes to the smithy to blow glass with Ingrid. Ingrid looks at the design of the objects that he wants to make. Yudo tells her Rune and Felicia's birthdays are coming up, and he wants to give them something handmade. Immediately, Ingrid vents out her anger because she has to waste her day off for that. She feels gloomy that she has to spend her day off with helping Yudo making something for other women. Engulfed in anger, she stars her work, but Yudo finally manages to calm her down, especially as her chance to spend the day with Yudo alone. While showing Yudo how to do it, she attempts to seduce him, but Yudo ignores her. Finally, Yudo manages to finish his handmade presents. Yudo is not sure that it can be called his handmade since mostly Ingrid helped him. Ingrid comments that since he is the one who designed it, then it is said that he made it, and moreover, Yudo had put his thought, time, and effort in it. At that moment, Yudo talks about her attempt to seduce him earlier. He thinks Ingrid is too aggressive and that she needs to be more ladylike. Yudo keeps giving her advice that makes Ingrid angry. Ingrid then punches him so hard that he is sent across the room. The next day, Yudo greets Ingrid, but she ignores him. Yudo then gives her a necklace called Magatama. Yudo deliberately made the necklace for Ingrid as an apology for making her angry. Yudo realizes that Ingrid wants to look different, and he praises her. Without further ado, Ingrid immediately puts on the necklace, and the tomboy woman feels very happy. Elsewhere, the holy priest Alexis goes to see Lofter. Alexis states the Empire has a duty to protect order, and the Wolf Clan is disrupting the order. Sigyn comments that the Lightning and Panther clans have no relationship at all, and they don't need to take an oath of the Chalice. Lofter asks Alexis what position he offers. He is willing to make an oath. Alexis then offers brothers of equal standing, and Lofter agrees. The scene switches to the real world. Mitsuki is talking to her friend Ruri discussing Yudo. Ruri wonders why Yudo left a good friend like Mitsuki. But Mitsuki doesn't think that Yuto doesn't want to go home. Instead, he still doesn't find a way to go back to his origin. Even though Mitsuki hasn't been dating Yuto, but when thinking of him surrounded by beautiful girls makes Ruri worried about Mitsuki. Even so, Mitsuki is certain that Yuto will not do anything bad. Ruri invites Mitsuki to her house to celebrate New Year so that she won't be alone. Moreover, her cousin who studied abroad has just returned. Mitsuki then remembers about Saya, a smart woman who knows everything. Moreover, Saya is an archaeologist and has got the title. She would probably know about the world where Yuto is now. Mitsuki and Ruri are heading towards Saya's house. Saya is interested with Mitsuki's story about Yuto, who was sent to the past. In order to know the details, Saya asks Mitsuki to tell the story thoroughly, and after listening to her story, Saya will decide if he believes her story or not. Even though Yuto is now in the Bronze Age Yggdrasil, Saya cannot predict when and where he is exactly. Because Mitsuki uses a lot of terms from Norse mythology, but some of them are different from the myths she knows. Mitsuki tells her that Yuto also said the same, however, there are similarities that make her curious, such as Yuto's title, the infamous wolf, Hrossvitner, the other name for Fenrir. Furthermore, there are Mjolnir the Shattered, and the Belt of Strength, Medingjars that belong to the patriarch of the Lightning Clan. All of them are related to Thor in several aspects. Moreover, Yuto used the Y River stratagem to defeat him. Saya explains there is a myth about a huge snake called Jormungandr that fought Thor 3 times, and during Ragnarok, he could sweep away the land with a flood. Apart from that, Yuto has a name that starts with Su and ends with Tu, and Fenrir and Jormungandr are involved in Ragnarok. In the Tales of Ragnarok, there is a giant called the Black One that leads the Muspel on horseback across the Rainbow Bridge of Bifrost to attack Asgard. The Black One is the flame giant who destroys all the 9 worlds. Saya suspects that Su Yuto is somehow shortened to Surtur. Meanwhile, Mitsuki's name, Shinomiya, is similar to Sur's wife's name, Sinmara. Then, Mitsuki concludes that Yuto is following the story of Norse mythology. But Saya is not sure about this and thinks that Yuto might be forging the original Norse myth. In fact, Norse mythology is believed to date back to somewhere before 1000 before century and the birth of Christ. Since Yuto is somewhere around 1500 before century, it is long before the myth began. After knowing the details from Saya, Mitsuki is worried about Yuto because Fenrir and Jormungandr end up killed at the end of the myth. Even so, Saya calms her and tells her that Yuto's situation doesn't follow the myth exactly, and they don't know what will happen. Norse mythology was told by tradition, so that they won't know the truth. Therefore, Saya tells Mitsuki not to give up hope. Returning back to the Bronze Age, Yuto is seen calling Mitsuki, but she doesn't pick up. It makes him worried about her. Meanwhile, Felicia and the others are making a cape for Yuto. Mitsuki calls Yuto and they talk on the line like usual. After talking to Mitsuki, Yuto decides to walk around at nighttime. Yuto remembers Mitsuki's words about Norse mythology. Meanwhile, Yuto doesn't understand about the myth. On the way, Yuto encounters Chris and Al, and they soon follow him. Yuto enters a tavern and everyone kneels before him. In the tavern, Yuto encounters a girl that looks like Mitsuki. The girl is the true heir to the Holy Asgard Empire, the divine Emperor Sigdrifa. Later, Yuto takes Sigdrifa to his residence. However, Sigdrifa disguises herself as a member of one of 3 great Asgard family, a princess of the Jarl clan Lifa. When seeing her, Felicia mistook her for Mitsuki. The next day, Lifa asks to be allowed to get into the smithy, but the guards do not grant her wish. Just then, Yuto appears and tells her that the smithy is forbidden for other clans. Hearing the commotion outside, Ingrid comes out of the smithy. Same with Felicia, Ingrid thinks Lifa is Mitsuki. Lifa is glad that she finally meets Ingrid, the well-known smith. It turns out that Lifa is one of their customers. Lifa feels strange that everyone mistook her for Mitsuki. Moreover, the strange thing that Ingrid just said about the other world, Yuto then explains that he came from the other world and that he was sent here in the Bronze Age by looking at the mirror that was made of elven copper. And at that time, Felicia was performing her magic that sent him to this world. Apparently, Lifa knows about the mirror as the Empire is examining the mirror. Before telling them about the mirror, Lifa asks for some food. After finishing 3 servings of hamburger by herself, she begins to talk about Felicia's magic. She wonders how her weak magic can summon someone to this world, where she cannot do it. Yuto is surprised by the fact and questions her magic. In an instant, Lifa performs her magic raising that Yuto is unable to move. Both Yudo and Felicia are surprised to learn that Lifa has twin runes. To Felicia's knowledge, there are only 2 people with 2 runes in Yggdrasil. Learning by the fact, Felicia suspects Lifa is the Divine Emperor Sigdrifa. Lifa admits that she is the Divine Emperor Sigdrifa. Felicia immediately goes on her knees, asking for an apology, and so does Yudo. Yudo also asks her that the spell is removed. Lifa then explains that basically there are 2 major types of magic, spells with internal effects, and spells with external effects. Meanwhile, the spell raising is the internal kind spell, and it needs an external spell to negate it. However, she tells him that she is not quite good at external spells, so that she cannot undo the spell. She explains that it will be removed on its own after a week. Furthermore, Lifa tells them that Seigen is able to remove the spell since she possesses the Fimbulvir spell that can release one from any bonds. Yudo then calls Mitsuki and tells him he just met a girl like her, but Lifa has different colors of hair and eyes. He tells her that based on the discussion with Lifa, he can go home with the Fimbulvir spell, but unfortunately, she is on the enemy side. Thus, Yudo must find someone else who has the same ability as Seigen. Finally, Yudo gets enlightened after all this time. The following day, Yudo and the company are talking about the Lightning Clan that has conquered Gashina Fortress. Yudo decides he will use Han Xin's strategy to lure the enemy. Yudo then explains the details to his comrades. The next day, the battle between the Lightning Clan and the Wolf Clan is ensued. Steinthor is seen coming towards the fortress. Even though the soldiers fire him with crossbows, Steinthor manages to get through it by his new weapon. Once he opens his iron umbrella, it can block the attack easily. Steinthor throws his umbrella that opens the fort. After that, he uses the Shattered Mjolnir and exterminates the soldiers of the Wolf Clan. Chris informs that the Lightning Clan brings iron weapons as well. Yudo then realizes that the Lightning Clan has made an ally with the Panther Clan. However, Yudo has a plan to deal with their enemy. In the battle arena, Jalfi and his troops follow Steinthor. There, Steinthor encounters Rune, and they begin to attack one another. Steinthor commands Pjalfi to run forward with the troops while he will kill Rune. Chris reports that the enemy's reinforcement is coming from the south, more than 10,000 men. The Panther Clan soon will arrive at the battlefield. Returning back to the battlefield, Steinthor strikes Rune, but Skarfir arrives to help her. They begin to attack Steinthor, but he still can deal with them. Because Steinthor has noticed Skarfir's skill, he can deal with his attack quite easily. Rune is going to attack from behind, but Steinthor breaks her spear in 2. After that, Steinthor is about to hit her with his Shattered, but Skarfir gets in his way and tries to block him. However, Steinthor overpowers him, and he falls into the abyss. Meanwhile, Rune cannot do anything but watch him fall. Rune gets up and tries to fight Steinthor. On the other hand, Lofter is seen encouraging his soldiers to take revenge on their loss when they got defeated by the Wolf Clan in the battle. Lofter commands his soldiers to charge forward, and the troop of the Panther Clan ambush the Wolf Clans. As a result, many soldiers of the Wolf Clan are killed. Then, Yudo comes to encourage his troops. His presence in the battlefield miraculously brings back their fighting spirit. Yudo then tells his soldiers to take up their spears and get into the formation and rebuild the wagon fort. The Patriarch's command gives a new atmosphere at the battle arena. Felicia recalls when Yudo told her that he is going to the front lines. Yudo explained that the Lightning Clan has a high morale because Steinthor is in the front line. It might be a reckless idea, but he was sure he could unite the soldiers' hearts. Meanwhile, Lofter feels annoyed, and he tells his troops to kill the Patriarch of the Wolf Clan, Suo Yudo. As they hear the command, the soldiers of the Panther Clan get to aim Yudo's life. Moreover, they will get a great prize if they succeed in killing him, and they begin the mission to take Yudo's life away. On the other hand, Yudo doesn't feel falter one bit even though he is aware that they are targeting his life. On the contrary, he keeps ensuring his soldiers that victory is still on their side. Apart from that, the soldiers remember Yudo's merit while being the patriarch of the clan. They can enjoy prosperity and honor. Moreover, the patriarch has had many innovations, both in weapons and in the cookery, so that they can enjoy a variety of foods that they have never known before. Yudo also built a school so that their children can get educated. They can all enjoy thanks to Yudo being the patriarch of the Wolf Clan. Therefore, the soldiers will not forget Yudo's kindness to them. Thus, the soldier will protect the hope of the Wolf Clan and won't let Yudo fall into the enemy's hands. Yudo doesn't expect that he can lift his soldier's spirit, but Felicia thinks it is normal because Yudo for them is their savior. On the other hand, Rune is still fighting against Steinthor. When seeing Yuto is in the front line, Steinthor is amazed with him even more, and he wants to get there quickly. Moreover, that Rune cannot amuse him anymore. However, Rune answers his mocking words to her with a slash. She makes a counterattack and manages to hurt Steinthor. At that time, there was an announcement that the Muspel had captured Fort Gashina. Yuto then tells the troops to finish the battle. Returning back to Steinthor, he intends to retreat. Moreover, he is injured severely from the slash of Rune's sword. Even so, Steinthor still has time to look at Yuto's skill and battle in amazement. He notices that the Wolf Clan patriarch always comes up with a new trick. Before retreating, Steinthor asks Rune's name as he thinks her final attack is impressive. Steinthor announces that they should fall back to open a path for the troops' escape, so that Steinthor will hold the enemy. When Steinthor sends his greetings to Skarfir, Rune realizes that her uncle is still alive. She immediately goes to look for Skarfir and finds him in an unconscious state. Yuto blocks all Lofter attacks towards him. Lofter notices Yuto has changed. Yuto states he keeps honing his skill and never been skipping the lesson as he is sick of being protected all the time. Even though Lofter manages to remove his sword, Yuto refuses to give up and he attacks with his bare hands, which makes Lofter fall and lose his consciousness. Felicia notices Sigyn is nearby because Sigyn chants the Thimblevir spell, a spell that unleashes the bonds of the Holy Pact made by God and Yuto begin to weaken. As a result, Yuto's body starts to disappear over time. Before disappearing, Yuto leaves his smartphone to Felicia, while Lofter is carried by his soldiers and leaves. Felicia is left alone, crying over Yuto's disappearance. The scene then shows Mitsuki, who notices that Yuto has returned. Finally, Yuto comes back to his home and reunites with Mitsuki. Mitsuki immediately embraces him. Moreover, they have been separated for a long time. Both of them feel glad and thankful that they finally get to meet each other. Finally, Yuto's wish to come back home comes true, thanks to Sigyn's spell. Yuto then borrows Mitsuki's phone to call his number, but it doesn't connect. Yuto then tells Mitsuki that he defeated the Lightning Clan and repulsed the Panther Clan. In the Bronze Age, Linnea gets informed that the Lightning Clan and the Panther Clan are back. Rasmus also tells her that Yuto is probably dead. Linnea feels sad, but she is not sure about this. In Yuto's world, Yuto and Mitsuki are having a picnic. They enjoy the scenery of the park while having light conversation. Just then, Yuto gets a call from Ingrid. They finally can talk to each other. Felicia tells him that they failed defending the Fort Gashina, and they moved to Larnvisor. Yuto also talks to Rune and apologizes to her that he left suddenly. After exchanging the news, they end the call. That night, Yuto goes to see Mitsuki. Apparently, Mitsuki has asked him to come to help him back to Yggdrasil. Mitsuki tells him that she also wants to go there with him. However, Yuto unintentionally doesn't allow her for some reasons. Mitsuki insists on going with him and confesses her feelings to him. Yuto gives in and proposes her to be his wife. That way, they can make it. He states he cannot ask a girlfriend to give her life, but he can ask his wife to go with him. Finally, Mitsuki accepts his proposal. The scene then shows the entire Wolf Clan people are cheering for the patriarch Suo Yuto. Mitsuki is seen in the Bronze Age talking to Lifa, while Rune thanks Felicia for summoning Yuto to Yggdrasil, and Felicia says welcome back to Yuto. Thank you for faithfully watching content from this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our content. See you in the next video.